How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I know many of y'all know about this particular case with the governor of, what was that state? Let me look back so I don't get it wrong. Michigan. In Michigan, where when Trump was in office, these white supremacists had planned to kidnap her because they had some major issues with the governor. And at that time, again, Trump was in office and he simply didn't give a damn. Now, I'm getting ready to repeat myself. And lately, some of the videos that I've been doing, I had made some predictions, and some of them have came true. And so I've been pointing it out, like the video that I did about the judge, how she was affected, and y'all know about it, where she's stepping down and retiring. And then the first person that was on that case when Daunte Wright got DA on the case got killed, people were protesting at his house. You know, they were giving him hell, and he ended up dying of cancer. And I've been saying that what the enemy and the enemy supporters are doing, they are sealing their fate. They simply will not do right by the royal family. So, let's see, 3 years ago during the summer, Yahweh clearly said this to me. He said, the white woman will be the first to get my wrath, but that does not exclude the white man because he upheld her shit. I mean, it was clear as day. And this is a prime example. Now, I'm going to break it down real fully. But I'm going to present one video and one audio. And another thing, I have a tendency to look at things spiritually too as well. That's why, like I said, I'm not real quick to put out a video, because I'm taking it in like y'all are, you know. And so since I'm a blogger and I'm one of the many voices like you and I, because that's why I always say render your voice, because your voice is just as powerful as mine's. And I want to examine it real close and not just be so quick to put it out, and see what messages that I'm getting too, and also sharing with the royal family. This energy that we are sharing is interchangeable. Some people have a tendency with these channels is it's all about them. And like I said, I might say I, but I truly don't mean I really mean we. And I think y'all know this by now. And like I said, I have to repeat myself a lot because I've been getting quite a bit of more subscribers on my channel, so they can understand what this, what this channel is all about. So anyhow, let's just get into it and see what all went down.
Now, the jury has reached a verdict in the case against 4 men accused of a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, let's head over to CBS News correspondent Adriana Diaz, who's monitoring the developments from Chicago. Hey, Adriana, what did the jury decide here? Take us through the verdict.
Hi, Mola and Michelle. Well, we've been waiting all week for this verdict, and the jury came out with a mixed bag. They said that they were able to come to certain agreements on some counts, but not all of them. The judge tried to send them back. He said, give it your best shot. But the jury came back and said, this really is it. And so here's what we have here. This is our version of the verdict sheet as we were taking notes, listening in to the courtroom. They faced 4 counts. These 4 men were looking at 4 counts. One is conspiracy to commit kidnapping, that's of the governor. 2 is use of weapon, their intent to use a weapon of mass destruction. 3 is the possession of an unregistered destructive device. And the 4th count is possession of a short barrel rifle. Now, on all of those counts, 2 of the men were found not guilty. So that's where the jury agreed that 2 of these men were not guilty. The other 2 men, their names are Adam Fox and Barry Croft. They were the 2 men that prosecutors said were really the ringleaders here. The jury was stuck. They were deadlocked on all the charges against both of these 2 men. So what does this mean? The 2 that were found not guilty, they can walk free. The other 2, now it's in the hands of the prosecutors, and they have to decide and talk to the judge to see whether or not they're going to try to ask for a retrial on the counts that the jury was not able to come to a unanimous conclusion on. But let me give you some background on this case, because you probably remember this, this story about arrests being made about an alleged plot to kidnap the governor. Here's what happened. Back in 2020, when we were all under lockdown, some states were lifting their COVID restrictions or weakening them, but that didn't happen in Michigan. Governor Whitmer refused to loosen her COVID rules, and there was a lot of frustration among many Michiganders over this. And you remember those scenes, people rallying in the state capitol with their guns. There was a lot of tension, a lot of frustration. Some of these men met at one of those rallies. But the key is this: the government learned about these men and their conversations, about their frustration, through one of their members who grew concerned over the conversation. Eventually that led to a tip to law enforcement. That man named Dan became an informant for the FBI. And so the defense argued throughout this entire case that it was this informant and others that really egged on these men to continue talking about, what defense attorneys would say, unrealistic kind of fantasies about what they wanted to do, but that these weren't actual plans. The defense argued throughout this trial that this was just big talk. These were frustrated men blowing off steam. Their weapons trainings exercises in the woods was simply boys being boys. The prosecutors tried to argue that whether or not this plan was realistic, they wanted to take Whitmer out onto a boat in Michigan. Whether it was realistic, it didn't matter. What mattered is that the prosecutors say, agreed to come to this agreement in regards to the governor. But in the end, most of these charges either were not guilty or deadlocked, and so the prosecutors really were not able to convince the jury of their arguments.
So it sounds like it was a question of whether or not the plotting and planning of a kidnapping vis-a-vis further down the line versus entrapment by this informant.
That's exactly right. This is the central question, Michelle. Was this a legitimate plan, or was this simply entrapment? What were these men egged on by government informants? There were several people working on behalf of the government. They had recording devices that looked like key fobs that recorded thousands of hours of audio, and also they had video evidence against these guys. And in some cases, one of the informants drove one of the defendants across state lines to go to a meeting. One of the informants introduced one of the defendants to the others. So the defense really painted their whole argument around the fact that the informants were at the center of it. They were the ones orchestrating everyone else and pushing this narrative about a plan. But the prosecutors say, look, these guys met up multiple times. They, exploded devices. They practiced. They did weapons trainings. We have video of it. We have audio of them talking about it. We have their encrypted chats. But that wasn't enough for the jury.
Imagine, Adriana, the governor's office may be a little disappointed in this ruling, in this verdict. Any word from the governor or her office?
We haven't heard from her yet. This is all just breaking. But one of the things to keep in mind here is that only one of the defendants chose to take the stand. That was the youngest. His name is Dan Harris. He's 24 years old, a military veteran. He was in the Marines for several years, I think 7 years. And that was a risky move, but it shows here that it was the right move for on behalf of his defense team, because he was found not guilty on all accounts. And we were listening in to this announcement in the courtroom, and you could just hear the sighs and the relief on behalf of some of these defendants. But yeah, it'd be interesting to be a fly in the wall in the governor's mansion right now, for sure.
Yeah, Dan, the informant, not to be be confused with Dan, the defendant. Adriana Diaz, thank you so much.
All right, my royal family. One thing that I wanted to point out was when the sister was speaking, she made a statement that somebody made referring to these grown men as boys. All right? You know, they will refer to our royal sons. They can be 5 and 6 years old as men. When I look at it on a spiritual basis, yes, they are little boys, and our royal sons are true kings. Now, before I get into the next audio, I want y'all to think about something here. Okay, they said they had government informants, and they have thousands of hours of audio. And I did see back then, I remember seeing a video or something like that. Now, one thing that we know, because we get a lot of injustice in the courts, there's often a statement that's made that the DA can indict a ham sandwich. So they invest this money with the informants, put all this work in, and that was the end results. That was the end results. Let's just think about that. All that energy and all of that. And again, Trump did not give a damn. So keep that on your frontal lobe. But what I'm getting ready to close out, gonna be fiery, my royal family. So the next here is this audio.
2 men in Governor Whitmer plot could be tried again. A jury's inability to reach a unanimous verdict for 2 men charged in a conspiracy to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer means the federal government can take them to trial again. The jury last week acquitted Daniel Harris and Brandon Caserta, whom prosecutors described as soldiers in the foiled plot, but deadlocked on the alleged leaders, Adam Fox and Barry Croft Jr. It was an extraordinary setback for the government, which claimed the men wanted to trigger a civil war before the 2020 election. Hung jury. A hung jury is unable to unanimously agree on someone's guilt or innocence. It could be just one person on the 12-member panel who disagrees with the others. Prosecutors can put someone on trial again or drop the case. U.S. Attorney Andrew Burge told reporters Friday that Fox and Croft are awaiting trial and will get back to work on that. They remain in jail. Mark Hutkow, who until recently led the criminal division of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Detroit, said he would be surprised if prosecutors fold, citing the significance of the allegations. The government has 2 cooperating defendants who pled guilty, who said they were part of the crime. That's pretty compelling evidence, Hutkow said, referring to Tiger Bean and Caleb Franks, who testified for prosecutors. So what happened? Only the jury knows. U.S. District Judge Robert Jonker barred lawyers from contacting jurors for any post-trial intelligence, but jurors can reach out to them on their own. Hutkow said it could help prosecutors and defense attorneys as they prepare for a second trial. As a litigant, sometimes you get in the fog of war, he said. You've spent so much time with your case, you're not objective as to what it looked like. Fox, who was living in the Grand Rapids area, and Croft, from Bear, Delaware, didn't testify. Their defense came through the cross-examination of the government's witnesses. Fox and Croft might have been angry with Whitmer over COVID-19 restrictions, but there was no real plan to kidnap the Democratic governor, their lawyers insisted. They say undercover FBI agents and informants inside the group fueled wild talk. Detroit area defense lawyer Michael Ratai said the challenge for prosecutors in Grand Rapids will be picking a jury from western and northern Michigan. It's Trump country and they don't like Whitmer. Prosecutors have an uphill battle, Ratai said. What happened after other big cases with hung juries? Prosecutors sharpened their focus after a federal jury couldn't agree on 23 of 24 charges at former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich's 2010 corruption trial. Jurors said just one person was a holdout. At Blagojevich's second trial, prosecutors skipped past his expensive taste for tailored suits and furs for his wife. He was convicted of multiple crimes, including an effort to sell an appointment to the U.S. Senate. But prosecutors decided against retrying New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. Many jurors at his 2017 trial favored acquittal. A judge subsequently threw out key bribery charges. Sometimes, there is bluster and chest thumping by prosecutors about a retrial after a deadlocked jury, said Alan Turkheimer, a Chicago-based jury consultant. But when the dust settles and they think more clearly, they can change their minds. Learning how jurors voted can be crucial. A jury that was 1 or 2 votes away from acquittal is a sign of a weak case, Turkheimer said, and can dissuade prosecutors from trying again. WHO's in the wings? 8 other men face state charges in either Jackson or Antrim counties. They're accused of assisting the others in the Whitmer plot, among other crimes, and have pleaded not guilty. Whitmer's vacation home is in Antrim. Fox and Croft, accompanied by undercover operatives, took a night ride to check the location and look at a bridge that could be blown up during a kidnapping, according to evidence in the federal case. The state cases have moved slowly since fall 2020. 5 men charged in Antrim still haven't had a key hearing at which a judge decides whether there's enough evidence to go to trial. Defense attorney Kareem Johnson, who is representing Pete Musico, a founding member of the Wolverine Watchman militia, compared the 2 acquittals in federal court to a thrilling basketball game. It's like when a teammate hits a three-pointer. It motivates you to get back on defense and get a stop, Johnson said Monday. _ Find AP's full coverage of the Whitmer kidnap plot trial at https://
All right, my Borrego family. So think about this, my Borrego family. It is rare to get a not guilty with all the dynamics that I was speaking of. The government was fully invested in this, where they had government informants. They were able to infiltrate them little boys. So it is rare to get something like that because their percentage is very high. Now, where they made the mistake is, and I've seen this a lot, they piled on. I think they had like 24 charges, and that's overwhelming to a layman, you know? And it's like, damn, y'all want us to go through all of this? But the divine hand was fully in this. Now, the enemy, the way he has been dealing with his woman in the past, she could holler rape. And the enemy's woman is instrumental in getting, no telling, it could have been millions of black men and women and children hung because she feeling some kind of way. And all of us has always talked about the first teacher of the child. So who is keeping this, all these isms that's going on in America or pretty much globally? That is her nature. And I often have said there are many Rosewoods. And they know that this woman have been lying because she's supposed to be put on a pedestal. And she get the bitching and moaning, and they did like they did to Emmett Till. But we are in a different space and time. There's been a lot of things going on since we have came out of our captivity. We got Rona tearing the lining out of people's ass on a global scale. So there's a lot of moving parts, but we're mainly focusing on what's going on with the enemy and his woman. Now, I had said in the Amber Geiger case, a lot of people was upset, and I was upset too, but I seen something that was going on. I said, damn, 5-10 years ago, they wouldn't have even indicted her ass. But see, she has no more value in their community because overall, she is barren and he is tired. He is tired. Look at these jokers. They wanted to get a hold of her. And if they did, they would have probably raped her or killed her or whatever they wanted to do. But see, they was in, a lot of people don't like her because that's Trump territory. Trump territory. You got to think about what's really going on. And I can clearly see this thing is going to increase. She will not be protected again. because she's the first to get our Father's wrath. And who knows her better than anyone? They know. They mamas, if they mamas was in their life, raised them. They know that she be lying and all of that. That other Supreme Court justice, when they were vetting him, and that woman up here from the Bay Area said when she was a teenager, he sexually did something to her. Me and KD was behind the scenes saying, you see it going down. Again, she has no value. Again, she is the first. Many people are putting out videos of these Karens. There is something going on in her conscience because she's not being upheld. We are in the age of exposure. All of us are playing a part in this. And then look at the side effects of this system. The side effects. The enemy's woman, very, very cunning, very, very dangerous. And she will do whatever it takes because she wants to have that control. You got to have something missing within yourself where you didn't call somebody to get hung. And then you think that negative energy that you're not going to pay a cost. Again, they are sealing their faith. Our Father don't want us mingling with them in this war. We ain't had to throw one bullet out whatsoever. We just have to see how it's going to play out, my royal family. I think they may not retry him. They don't give a damn about her. I keep saying they got concerns. They got some grave concerns. And what has worked for them ain't working no more. They don't know how to think out of the box. And that's why we're seeing things plummeting quickly, rapidly. And there's many moving parts in it. But what you are looking at is dangerous. And again, they know how she get down. She gangster about her shit. But when you cannot reproduce yourself naturally, because I talk about the nature of many things, naturally you're going to gravitate to what can reproduce thyself. I keep saying she's barren. I keep saying she has absolute no value. And he's even sick of her. Now look at this. Look at this situation, my royal family. She's a governor. And these ain't nothing but some damn country bumpkins, po white trash. And they walked. That is deep. Continue to use your first eye. Develop that sucker. So that's it, and that's all, my royal family. Like I said, when I first seen it, I said, wow. And another thing, you ain't seeing nobody out there protesting, going berserk. Where are these different women's groups? They should be livid. They should be pissed. They're supposed to be marching all through the streets of America. You can literally hear a pin drop. Have I got my point across, my royal family? Well, I need you to do something. I need you to render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.